If I'm interviewing, the first question that you said, I tend to ask, tell me about yourself. Now, when I say tell me about yourself, I'm not looking at hearing, what you do otherwise, right? What basically any interviewer wants to know is for that question, you talk about your professional life, but in a very short, length, basically. Okay. So, what happens is whenever I'm asking that one question, I know if the candidate is a good candidate or not, because most candidates who don't fit a role, they would keep the answers very short.
Okay.
Tell me about yourself. I'm so and so. I did this. I I have total this much year of experience. That's all done. I have to keep asking questions to know more about that person. Now, in that, I know that this person's not too, good. He's not done much. Now, someone who's done a lot in the role or is a perfect match for this role, in that one question, he tries to cover up a lot of things that he's done. So I don't have to put in a lot of questions, then I can move into more behavioral questions, logical questions and all of that. So this one, I think that's like the first impression thing, right? So first impression is always the best impression. So that one question, I think people have to prepare better to give that first, impression to the interviewer.
Okay. Yeah. So what's the best practice in terms of, to answer the question right, what all things do you think I need to cover when I'm telling about myself? So a lot of people think that they want to talk about their credentials in terms of career-wise, and also they want to tell that, I'm a very fun-loving person. So...
Yeah. So I think, again, I would, from my experience, what I've understood, it depends on individual interviewers as well, okay? You need to actually understand the interviewer well. So I would say the start of it would be whenever you are giving an interview, go open your LinkedIn profile, see what kind of a person he or she is, and then go through their experience, see what kind of posts they do. That gives you a good understanding of how the questions would be and how they would. Another thing I also do is I go through Glassdoor before giving any interviews.
Sorry?
Glassdoor?
Okay.
Yeah. So I tend to see what each company, what kind of questions they give and all of that. And then I form it. So if I feel like if I'm someone who has more experience, I would introduce myself, and then I would get into what the role requires, like what are my relevant skills and things like that, and that works for me.
Yeah. I also used to use that trick where whoever the interviewer is, on the mail you either get their name or the mail ID, something will be there, right? So I would go to their profile, and when you are a designer, you have to talk a little bit about how you see world, like your perspective and things that you admire, all of that, right? So I would just see what are the things that they like, and when I'm talking in the interview, probably talk about like their interests, and then make it seem like whatever topics that I'm talking, it's in line with their perspective.
And I think it's also about not being too prepared for an interview also. Like sometimes there have been instances when we realize, okay, this person's actually Googled a lot of things and he is giving those Google answers. Because we also tend, when we are, forming our own questions, our own behavioral questions and all of that, we also tend to take help. Now there's ChatGPT, we try to get questions and, improve our questions with time and stuff, right? So we know what are the answers out there. So we somehow get an idea this person's actually Googled a lot and actually come up with an answer which Google is told is right. And this is not you. So somewhere you just have to be you in an interview, and we want to know what you are and not what you can have this mask initially, but eventually you start working, things will not work. This has happened multiple times. I was talking to a friend, she was hiring for a Scrum Master. The person's interview went really well. But when he started working, we realized he's very different from what he was. So you might crack an interview, but eventually it's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
A Sankarshan Joshi trip.